Have you ever felt strange in the world, as if something inside you no longer fits in conversations, routines, or places? Have you ever carried a sadness without explanation or a sensitivity that no one else understood? That's not weakness. It's a sign. And not everyone feels this. Only those who have been called to something greater. These pains that no one sees are deep marks on the soul. They don't come from the outside. They're born from within. They appear when the spirit begins to awaken, when ordinary life is no longer enough for what exists inside you. That's when you realize you're not living by chance. There's a hidden purpose in this restlessness that follows you. Many try to hide these pains, pretend everything is fine, go on as if they were like everyone else. But the chosen ones can't fool themselves for long, because when God calls, the soul listens. And even without understanding, you begin to feel. You feel that you need to seek something more. You feel that you are being set apart, even in silence. And that's what we're going to talk about here. About the real pains that only the chosen ones feel. Pains that are not punishment, but confirmation. If you've come across this video, don't ignore it. It may be that God is calling you to look more closely at what you carry inside. You are not alone on this journey. My name is George, and here on the channel we talk about all of this with an open heart. If this message touched something inside you, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. We're in this together, and if you feel that you are one of the chosen, then you've come to the right place. 1. The feeling of someone who has been called. Have you ever been surrounded by people in a full room and still felt completely out of place? As if you no longer belonged in that kind of environment. As if your body were there, but your soul was asking to leave. If so, you need to hear this. That discomfort is not weakness. It's a sign. There is a kind of pain that only those who are awakening to their calling can understand. It's not physical. It's more subtle, deeper. It's as if a part of you already understood that things around you have lost their shine, but the rest of the world hasn't noticed yet. It's a misalignment that hurts, but also awakens. Those who have been set apart for a greater purpose begin to feel this difference in their gaze, in their thinking, in their actions. Things that once seemed normal begin to bother you. Shallow conversations, heavy environments, behaviors that were once acceptable. All of this starts to create a strange feeling. It's as if your soul were saying, you no longer belong to this. That doesn't mean you're better than others. It means you're being set apart. When a new phase begins, the old one needs to end. And it is in this silent ending that many chosen ones feel lost, alone, even rejected. But know this, you are not alone. Many are going through the same process, even without understanding why. This pain of separation, of not belonging, is not punishment. It's preparation. It's like a leaf falling from a tree when the season changes. It's a natural movement for those being called to live a more conscious life, more aligned with what they came to do in this world. And the closer you get to your purpose, the more this distancing happens. Maybe you're going through this right now. Old friends have drifted away. Certain places no longer make sense. Some people even say that you've changed. And you have changed. But you changed because you awakened. Because you're beginning to see with the eyes of the soul. And that changes everything. This kind of pain is sacred. It cleanses you, reveals you, brings you closer to who you really are. And as much as it hurts now, it is the beginning of something much greater. Because it's in discomfort that consciousness is born. And it's in that consciousness that you begin to remember who you've always been. Someone with a mission in this world. If you feel all of this, know that you're not alone. This is one of the first signs that something within you is being activated. It's the beginning of the chosen one's path. And even if you don't understand everything yet, something in you already knows that this journey has no turning back. Comment here. I feel this calling, if this message made sense to you. Your sharing might strengthen someone who is going through the same and feeling alone. 2. When sensitivity becomes a burden. Have you ever walked into a place and felt an unexplainable discomfort? Have you ever been near someone, and even without talking, sensed a strange energy, like an invisible weight that takes over the environment? If this happens to you, your spiritual sensitivity might be awakening. And this sensitivity, when not understood, can hurt. The chosen ones don't feel like everyone else. They perceive things earlier. They feel more deeply. They pick up on what's hidden between the lines, in expressions, in silences. It seems like a gift, and it is. But it can also be a burden, because you won't always know what to do with everything you feel. Environments that once seemed normal now feel uncomfortable. You start to avoid certain places, certain groups, certain topics. Not out of pride, but because something inside you tightens. You become like an antenna. You feel what others don't. You see what others ignore, and you carry it with you, even if you don't want to. Sometimes, this kind of sensitivity makes you question yourself. Am I too weak? Am I becoming paranoid? But no, you're not crazy, and you're not fragile. You're awake. The world doesn't teach you how to deal with this kind of perception, and when no one understands what you feel, it's easy to doubt yourself. It's common for spiritually sensitive people to hear phrases like, "Stop exaggerating. You're too sensitive. That's all in your head." But those who are chosen know it's not exaggeration, it's real. And more than that, it's a sign, an internal alert saying your spirit is being tuned to perceive beyond the surface. God doesn't give this sensitivity by accident. It's a tool. It serves to discern, to protect, to intercede. When something spiritually bothers you, it's because there's a calling to act. Sometimes the action is to pray. Other times it's to walk away. And often, it's just to recognize, this no longer belongs to me. The hard part is that feeling too much is exhausting. It's an invisible weight you carry in your chest. But at the same time, this confirms that you're not asleep like most. You're alert. You're being trained to read the invisible. And that, in the spiritual world, is one of the greatest strengths. If this spiritual sensitivity has been part of your life, embrace it as a gift, even when it feels hard. Use it with wisdom. Don't hold everything in alone. Sharing helps. And if you feel you're absorbing more than you should, remember to take care of your energy too. A chosen one who takes care of themselves shines brighter. Now tell me, can you feel when an environment is heavy? Have you had experiences where your body reacted before your mind understood what was happening? Share here in the comments. Your story might open the eyes and heart of someone who also feels, but hasn't yet understood. 3. When being chosen pushes you away. Have you ever felt like you were being left out, even though you did nothing wrong? Have you noticed that people close to you started to drift away, friendships cooled down, and suddenly you felt like a stranger in your own family? If so, know this. It hurts, but it's another sign that you're being set apart for something greater. Rejection hurts. Isolation weighs on you. Sometimes you ask yourself, is there something wrong with me? But what if I told you this distance is not punishment? What if it's the opposite, a preparation? When you are chosen, your energy starts to shift. And not everyone can walk with you in this new season. When your light starts to grow, it ends up revealing what's hidden in others. And not everyone is ready to deal with that. The truth is that people often pull away not because they hate you, but because they can't handle the transformation they're seeing in you. Not out of hate, but out of misunderstanding. Being chosen is also being separated. And that separation, at first, feels like loneliness. But it's actually protection. God pulls you out of environments that could hurt you, friendships that could slow you down, bonds that would keep you from advancing. It's painful, but necessary. Jesus was also rejected by his own. He experienced the pain of not being understood by those closest to him. And if Christ himself went through that, so will you. But not as a defeat, as a strengthening process. Because it's in the silence of solitude that God speaks more clearly. Often it's in the desert that you hear the voice you couldn't hear in the crowd. And even if that place seems dry, cold, and hopeless, it's there your spiritual roots grow deeper. It's there you discover a strength you didn't even know you had. And it's there you meet your purpose. 4. The emptiness. No one understands. Have you ever felt that emptiness that has no explanation? Life seems to be in order. Nothing serious has happened. But there's still a hole in your chest, a feeling that something is missing. You try to fill it with distractions, conversations, tasks. But the restlessness remains. If this describes you, know this. This is another pain that only those who are called feel. The emptiness of the soul is not depression. It's a calling, a sign that your spirit is asking for something the world cannot offer. And no matter how much you try to run, that feeling persists. It doesn't go away with success, with compliments, or with achievements. Because it doesn't come from the mind. It comes from your essence. Many of the chosen experience this spiritual anguish without knowing why. It's as if the heart is somewhere else. Nothing that once brought pleasure seems to have the same effect. The laughs are shorter, the days quieter, and the nights longer. But what's happening is not the end of anything. It's the beginning of everything. It's the beginning of a journey of reconnection. This emptiness is a gap between who you've been and who you're meant to become. And it only starts to be filled when you begin to align with your true purpose. When you stop trying to please the world and start listening to what your soul really wants to say. 5. When someone else's pain becomes yours. Have you ever cried for no apparent reason? Have you ever felt a sadness that wasn't yours, a tightness in your chest while surrounded by people laughing, or a huge weight upon entering a place? If this has happened to you, it's a sign that your heart is tuned into something much greater, collective pain. And this is one of the strongest marks of someone who is chosen. The chosen ones don't carry only their own emotions. They feel the world. They feel the suffering of people, the weight of a conversation, the pain hidden behind a smile. And the hardest part is that many times, they don't even know where it's coming from. They just feel it, as if they were connected to an invisible current of human suffering. This spiritual empathy is not weakness, it's refined sensitivity. It's as if your spirit had developed an antenna that picks up not only what is said, but what is felt, what is hidden, what is being silenced. You feel the environment. You feel the energy of those around you. And sometimes that becomes heavy. Many don't understand this. They say it's exaggeration, drama, too much sensitivity. But those who live it know. They know how hard it is to carry a pain that has no name. They know how confusing it is to wake up feeling fine, and minutes later, feel anxious without knowing why. But this pain has a reason, and it has a purpose. 6. The burden of seeing beyond. Have you ever had that feeling that something bad was about to happen? And it did. Have you ever had a dream so vivid it felt real, and later realized it was a warning? Or had that silent certainty in your chest, even when everything around said otherwise? If so, you carry the burden of seeing beyond. This burden is not easy to carry, because along with it comes the loneliness of not being understood. When you try to explain what you felt, what you saw, what you know, often people laugh, doubt, or walk away. It's painful to know what others still can't see. It's like being in a lit room while everyone else is still in the dark. The chosen ones usually have this heightened sensitivity. They receive revelations through dreams, intuitions, subtle perceptions. Sometimes it's such a strong hunch that your whole body reacts. And no matter how much you try to ignore it, the inner calling won't let you. Something inside you knows. And once it knows, you can't pretend you didn't see. But here's the hard part. You can't always share it. Sometimes, even when you want to help, to warn, to protect, you stay silent. Because you've already learned through pain that not everyone is ready to listen. And then the pain becomes a silent burden, carrying something that can't be shared. This is one of the loneliest pains of the chosen ones. To see beyond and not be taken seriously. To feel the invisible and be called dramatic. To speak with faith and be seen as strange. But even with that pain, you keep going. Because something greater moves you. Because you know that what you feel is real, and it matters. Jesus went through this too. He spoke with authority, with truth. But many rejected him. They said he exaggerated, that he was crazy, that he didn't make sense. But he kept going. Because he knew who he was, and what his mission was. If you feel the same, know this. You are not alone in this. 7. When God goes silent. Have you ever prayed with a broken heart and still heard nothing in response? Have you cried out in the middle of pain, asking for a sign, a word, anything, and all you received was silence? If you've experienced this, know. This is one of the greatest tests that the chosen ones face. God's silence hurts. It hurts more than a negative answer. It hurts because you believe, because you have faith, because you know he is there, but you don't understand why he's not speaking. The soul goes into conflict. The heart cries out, but heaven seems mute, and it is exactly there that the mystery lies. God's silence is not absence. It's not rejection. He is present, even in silence. But the chosen ones learn to listen with a different kind of ear, the ear of the Spirit. This is when faith stops being theory and becomes root. God goes silent when he's working. He goes silent when he's teaching. He goes silent when he wants you to learn to trust not in what you feel, but in what you already know. And what you know is, he is faithful. Even when everything seems dark, he does not abandon you. Many of the greatest men and women of faith went through this silence. Jesus on the cross also experienced that emptiness. He cried out, "Father, why have you forsaken me?" And even so, he gave his life trusting, because he knew the purpose was greater than the moment. God's silence doesn't come to destroy you. It comes to shape you, to make you firm, to teach you to walk without needing to be carried. Because the chosen ones are trained to walk by faith, not by signs. And that journey doesn't always come with applause from heaven. Sometimes it comes with silence. And even so, it is love. 8. The emptiness that nothing in the world can fill. Has it ever happened that you were surrounded by everything that should, in theory, make you happy? People, achievements, even good moments, but still felt an emptiness in your chest, a silence inside your soul, as if something essential was missing, even though you didn't know what. That's not depression. That's a calling. This emptiness is one of the most subtle and yet strongest pains that the chosen ones feel. because it doesn't appear when everything is going wrong. On the contrary, it appears when everything is apparently right, when, in the eyes of the world, you should be satisfied. But inside, something tells you, there's more. And there really is. Because your soul was not made to live only on goals, achievements, and routine. You were set apart for something greater. And until that mission aligns with your life, the emptiness will keep calling. It's like a silent reminder that you were chosen to transcend the ordinary. It doesn't matter if you already have a good life. If you're not at peace inside, it's because your spirit is nudging you, asking for attention. This pain appears to wake you up, not to torment you, but to align you, to remind you that you are not just flesh and thought. You are spirit. And the spirit is hungry. This emptiness is also the way God uses to draw you near. When everything seems satisfying but still doesn't fulfill, it's because what's missing isn't something, it's someone, His presence. True fulfillment doesn't come from outside. It comes from within, and only connection with the divine can bring that. 9. The silent mission of the chosen ones. Have you ever felt like you came into the world for a greater reason, even without knowing exactly what it is? Have you carried a restlessness in your chest? A sense that there's something only you can do? Something that hasn't yet been fully revealed, but is alive inside you? If so, this is the pain of someone who carries a mission. This mission is not always clear. In fact, it usually begins as a weight in the spirit, a sense of urgency that no one else seems to feel. It's as if you're being called all the time, even when you try to ignore it. This pain doesn't come from doubt. It comes from the certainty that there is more, something that still needs to be born from within you. Many chosen ones spend years trying to fit into paths that aren't theirs. They work, strive, get along with everyone, but feel out of place, because they know they are here for something beyond routine. And that, even without explanation, hurts. Because when the soul knows, it doesn't rest until it finds the way. And don't think that mission is something grand in the world's eyes. Sometimes, it's silent. It's in the right word at the right time, in a gesture of love, in a comforting presence. But what makes it special is that only you can fulfill it with the heart God placed inside you. This pain also comes from responsibility. Because when you start receiving revelations, feeling the signs, seeing the changes happen, you realize you can't live on autopilot anymore. Time takes on a different value. Choices carry more weight, and you feel you need to be available, even if no one understands. Sometimes, this mission will require sacrifice. It will distance you from people, places, routines, and you'll ask yourself if it's worth it. But something inside you already knows the answer. You didn't come into the world just to survive. You came to be a bridge, a light, a response. And as hard as it seems, purpose will sustain you. The calling of the chosen ones is not comfortable, but it's true. And when you start living for it, everything changes. The pain becomes direction. The silence becomes strength. And even the emptiness becomes space for the new to be born. God doesn't choose the most perfect. He chooses those who have the courage to say yes, even without understanding everything. Now tell me sincerely, do you feel like you carry a mission, even if you can't fully explain it yet? Write here in the comments, I carry a mission, and I'm ready to live my calling. Your words may be the spark that ignites courage in someone going through the same process. If you made it this far, it's because you felt it. You felt every word, every pain, every sign. And now, maybe something inside you is different, lighter, clearer, more alive. That happens because deep down, you already knew. You already felt it. You were just waiting for someone to put into words what your spirit had been silently screaming. These 9 pains you've discovered along this path are not punishments. They are marks. They are signs that God has something with you. Something real, greater than you can imagine. Every disconnection, every silent tear, every unexplainable emptiness, every moment of isolation. It was all part of your preparation. You're not strange. You're not broken. You're being shaped. And now it's time to stop running from your mission. To accept that yes, you have been set apart, you have been chosen. Not because you deserve it, but because of purpose. And that purpose will begin to reveal itself more and more as you decide to live with more presence, more truth, more surrender. Maybe not everyone around you will understand, but that doesn't matter, because the chosen ones don't wait for recognition. They keep going because they know, because they feel, and because they trust. Now tell me in the comments, which of these pains touched you the most? Which part made your heart beat stronger? Right here, I identified with pain number X, or I am one of the chosen. Your sharing may awaken and strengthen someone who is also on this journey. And if all of this made sense to you, stay with us. Come back whenever you need to remember who you are. Because the chosen ones are not alone. They were just asleep. And now it's time to wake up.